This is the Biketrix Swift step-through e-bike. It's frickin' awesome. Let me show you why. Let's start this off with a quick speed test. I have a janky camera setup here, but it gets the job done. We set it to level 5 pedal assist, and Natalia went at it. She's able to get pretty good acceleration, and she topped out at 42.5 kilometers an hour this time. And let's try that one more time. Keep in mind that during these tests, Natalia is not shifting any gears. She's just staying in the top gear. She's allowing the motor to do all the heavy lifting at the lower speeds. Then by the time she gets to the top speed, she's really helping it hit its maximum power output. And that was 43 kilometers an hour. The first thing that showed up on my door was the box with a battery, charger, and optional bell that I added to my order. About a week later, the main course arrived. So much help. The bike. This e-bike comes in a pretty big box compared to most other bikes. That's because it comes almost entirely pre-assembled.
Don't cut any wires like that one. I'm joking.
Hard to draw.
We just needed to put on the front wheel, the stem, and the seat. It didn't take us long to put together either, maybe about an hour or so. Before this e-bike, we had never experienced the awesomeness of torque sensors. Just a throttle-controlled DIY one. And the torque sensor is amazing. It's magic. Many e-bikes, like this Ride 1 Up, come with a cadence sensor to detect if you're pedaling. But fewer come with torque sensors to measure how hard you're pedaling. And even fewer have both, which this one does. It has both cadence and torque sensing to grab all those data points to make for the most natural feeling electric assistance we've ever experienced. Speaking of natural feeling, the walk mode,
All right, walk mode?
it works wonderful on hills, but we found that its one power setting is comically powerful on flat ground.
It's too fast.
I wonder.
Meanwhile, one day at a sandy beach, we used these electric horses to lug our stuff around in panniers, and they're ideal for this.
Okay, so that's without. Not the worst thing, but pretty hard. And now I'm gonna hold down the minus button and, whoa, it's so much better.
And as a final test, here's a gigantic hill with a very steep incline.
It works pretty well.
Yeah. I'll
Cool.
go back to. Oh my God. That's heavy.
There's a laughable difference between using the motor and not using it.
That's so much better.
So it actually does work, okay.
It's really good.
This e-bike frame uses a Rienshin Dorado battery, which locks right into the frame. It looks like it's part of the bike because it is, instead of looking like a battery plopped right onto the down tube. This specific battery is a 17.5 amp hour, 48 volt, 840 watt hour battery. The wiring has a plug near the back wheel so that if you get a flat, you can completely remove the wheel without the annoying cable tethering you to the frame of the bike. Biketrix decided to go with a 26-inch tire for this bike instead of a 27.5 or 700C tires. On to the back rack. It's freaking awesome. And it's robust. My favorite thing about it is that there are smaller rails right under the main rails, and we use those 95% of the time. Seeing as we mount our panniers almost every time we go biking, this keeps the top rails nice and shiny. Compare this to my bike rack that doesn't have these secondary rails, and you'll quickly notice the difference in wear and tear after just a few months of riding. Not only that, but the Biketrix rack allows you to mount any pannier you can think of, literally all of the ones that we have. Whereas with the Ride 1 Up rack, I can't mount my favorite grocery pannier because the actual back rack rails are too thick. On to range tests. Let's just say that this bike can go for quite a while. These motors aren't as efficient as mid-drive motors, but these geared hub motors really do get the job done quite well. We typically charge our batteries up to 80% and go between 25 and 50 kilometers to get back with nearly 40% left. But your mileage will vary greatly depending on how much you're pedaling, your PAS level, wind, hills, weather, temperature, and the speeds that you're traveling at. Basically, it's really hard to get you a real-life number. But just for a guesstimate, if you start with a 100% charge, go throttle only, and you are pretty aggressive with your acceleration from stop signs and red lights, you'll probably get around 40 to 60 kilometers out of this setup. If you use pedal assist 1 to 3 like we normally do, and you take it easy and you're not going insanely fast, you'd probably be able to get around 50 to 150 kilometers out of this setup. Again, the range really varies. Now let's talk about swept back handlebars and step through frames versus aggressive step over bicycles. This frame is obviously a step through, and so is mine. And clearly, it has a pretty relaxed seating position. Very Dutch styled. And that's exactly what we wanted in our new e-bikes. We had had enough with aggressive road and mountain bike frames and wanted something that had a more upright riding position. It doesn't matter that we're young. Being able to mount the bike by just stepping through the frame feels amazing. And the dismount is so satisfying. If you're going hard, there's a bit of a frame twist and flex, but from what all the experts were saying online about step-throughs being inferior to frames with top tubes, I'm shocked. I barely feel anything, and I'm looking for it. Natalia's never even noticed a single weird thing about the frame. On to the front and back lights, we love how they're built into the bike. Just like a car or motorbike, you would kind of expect to have lights built in. It's just so convenient to be able to step onto this bike, turn on the lights, and then bike away, compared to having to strap or clip on bike lights and then go. The exception is the backlight, which doesn't have a strobe option, just a solid light. Strobe lights are more noticeable to drivers and are therefore safer, so we've been using clip-on backlights. That and the backlight on the Biketrix Swift isn't powered by the main battery, which really sucks. You have to replace the AAAs once in a while. However, we are still on the same AAAs that came with it about 3 months ago, so there's that. Coming in right around 58 pounds with everything, including the battery mounted on it, this e-bike is actually quite light. The battery itself is 9.4 pounds, so if we take that off, the bike itself is 48.6 pounds. The brakes are hydraulic. I don't know much else about them, but it does make your e-bike more like a motorcycle now because you have to do hydraulic fluid changes every once in a while, although we haven't had to do that just yet. These front attachment points may be something most people overlook, but not us. We're waiting for the great bicycle part shortage of 2020 and 2021 to end so that we can grab a front rack for this bike to make it even more of a badass utility bike. And there we have it. This is the 2021 version of the Biketrix Swift step-through e-bike. And it's a very capable e-bike with a lot of awesome features and very few quirks. We're excited for the many thousands of kilometers that we'll be putting on this beast. Oh, and I did forget to mention that I got a discount on the e-bike to do this review, so I guess keep that in mind, but I don't think it really negates anything that I said. Anyway, happy trails.